Everything is already complete. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's rewind. A thought appears out of nowhere, then another, and another. Before you even realize it, a whole conversation is replaying in your head. A decision is being second-guessed. An imaginary argument is unfolding. It all feels so personal, so deliberate, like there's a you inside directing the whole thing. But then, a new thought takes over. A sensation shows up. The moment moves on its own. And yet, through it all, something is simply watching. The mind claims there's a separate you inside, controlling thoughts, making choices, directing life. That assumption makes everything feel heavier than it is. It's why decisions feel like pressure, why conversations sometimes feel forced, why no matter what gets done, it never feels like enough. But what if that pressure was never real? What if clarity, ease, and effortlessness weren't things to work toward, but were already happening, right now? For years, the mind has told a story, one that divides reality into me and everything else. That story feels automatic, but what happens when you stop assuming it's true? Beneath all labels, beneath the endless narration, something has always been steady, open, still, without edges. This isn't an idea. It's not something to believe. It's already happening, and right now, it's being seen. A decision appears. Choosing what to eat, picking a show to watch, sending a message, or something bigger, ending a relationship, changing jobs, taking a risk. It feels like you are in control, weighing the options, making the call. But did that choice actually come from a separate you? A thought appeared. Did you create it? A preference formed? Did you decide to like one thing more than another? The final choice happened. Did you truly control every step? Or did it all just unfold? The mind rushes in after the fact, taking credit for what was already happening. This is why arguments replay in your head hours later. Why overthinking a simple message feels exhausting. Why hesitation sneaks into decisions that could have been effortless. The mind wants to manage everything, but when has that ever truly helped? The reality is, life is already moving on its own. Actions unfold, choices happen, words appear, without force, without hesitation. And when this is seen, the unnecessary weight of control begins to loosen. Walking happens. The body moves, each step lands, balance adjusts. But where is the effort? You're not calculating every movement, not manually correcting your stance. It just happens. Now imagine trying to take control of walking. Lift the foot, adjust the weight, place it down, steady yourself, repeat. That level of control would turn something effortless into something awkward, heavy, and exhausting. And yet, this is exactly what the mind does to life. Now apply this to speaking. The best conversations flow, words come out naturally, nothing is rehearsed. But the moment you start thinking about what to say next, it falls apart. Pauses feel too long. Jokes feel forced. Everything becomes unnatural. Or look at creativity, writing, music, problem solving. The best ideas don't come from force. They appear when effort stops. This is not about inaction. Life still moves, decisions still happen, but nothing needs to be forced. And when this is noticed, the unnecessary strain of getting it right begins to fade. Lying in bed, exhausted. The body is ready to sleep, but the mind won't stop. Replaying conversations, planning the next day, analyzing things that don't even matter. And the more you try to quiet it, the louder it gets. Or think about making a tough decision, weighing the pros and cons, analyzing every outcome. But the harder you push for certainty, the more doubt creeps in. Now compare that to when a choice just happens. No mental back and forth, no hesitation. It just feels right. This clarity appears when the mind stops interfering. It's the same with emotions. Ever notice that the harder you try to calm down, the more frustrated you feel? The more you force happiness, the more artificial it seems. The mind is like someone trying to smooth out water with their hands. The more they touch it, the more ripples they create. But when there's no interference, everything settles on its own. Driving on an empty road, no distractions, no rush, just movement. The body adjusts without effort. The hands turn the wheel. The foot presses the gas. Everything feels smooth. Now imagine over-analyzing every motion. Am I gripping the wheel correctly? Am I pressing the gas too hard? The more you micromanage, the more unnatural and stressful the drive becomes. And yet, this is how most people live, trying to control every step, every word, every outcome. But when that pressure isn't there, everything flows. The same thing happens in conversation. When you're fully present, words just come. But the moment self-consciousness creeps in, when you start judging every word before it's spoken, the flow breaks. This applies to everything: work, relationships, decisions. The best results don't come from force. They happen when nothing extra is added. And the only thing standing in the way of that ease is the habit of over-involvement. Waking up tomorrow, no hesitation, no overthinking, no unnecessary tension. Conversations flow, no second guessing. Decisions happen, no mental back and forth. Even the simplest moments, drinking coffee, stepping outside, hearing laughter, feel lighter. Not because life changed, but because the pressure of managing every moment was never needed. This isn't about stopping action. Work still happens. Conversations still unfold. Choices still appear. The difference? There's no strain, no background noise of self-doubt, no unnecessary effort, no resistance, like a river moving forward, without hesitation, without interruption. Just life, carrying itself. How much time is spent hesitating, hovering over a text before sending it, replaying a conversation from hours ago, delaying a decision because what if it's the wrong choice?
Are you sure?
But where does hesitation come from? It's not life that hesitates, it's the mind.
What if?
And the only reason hesitation exists is because of the habit of believing everything needs to be controlled. But what happens when that habit isn't there? You send the message without second guessing. You say what you mean without rehearsing it. You make decisions and move on, instead of endlessly circling what ifs.
Are you sure?
This isn't recklessness. You still make smart choices. You still handle responsibilities.
What if?
But the exhausting mental weight that usually comes with them? Gone. What's left is clarity, ease, movement without unnecessary resistance. Stress doesn't come from what's happening. It comes from the extra layer of thought added on top. Deadlines aren't stressful. Thinking, I'll never finish on time, is. Conversations aren't stressful. Worrying, did I say the wrong thing, is. Traffic isn't stressful. Telling yourself, this is ruining my day, is. Now imagine handling the exact same situations without the extra mental noise. Deadlines appear. You handle them. Conversations happen. They're left in the past. Traffic is just traffic. Nothing changes except the struggle that was never needed. Music is playing. If you try to predict every note, you miss the rhythm. But when you stop over-analyzing, the music is felt, effortlessly. Life works the same way. When the mind loosens its grip, things don't stop happening. They just happen without resistance. Walking still happens, but it feels lighter. Talking still happens, but words flow effortlessly. Work still happens, but without the weight of struggle. Everything moves on its own. The best moments in life just happen. The funniest jokes aren't rehearsed. The easiest days unfold without a plan. The most natural conversations happen when nothing is being controlled. Now compare that to the moments that feel difficult. Forcing a response in a conversation. Trying to be motivated when energy isn't there. Overanalyzing decisions until even small choices feel impossible. That struggle only exists when the mind interferes. When effort isn't forced, action happens. When conversations aren't scripted, words flow. When choices aren't overanalyzed, decisions become obvious. Nothing is stuck. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs to be forced. Breathing happens. The body moves, the lungs expand, the heart beats. No one is doing it. Now look at thoughts. They appear just like breath. Spontaneous, unpredictable. Emotions, the same. Decisions, they arise when needed. The mind claims ownership after the fact, but in reality, everything has always been unfolding by itself. No one is behind it. No effort is needed to keep it going, and yet life flows perfectly. The search for clarity, peace, or freedom was never about finding something new. It was only about noticing what was already here. There was never a separate you controlling life. There was never a problem to solve. The mind imagined a weight, then struggled to carry it. But there was never anything there. Everything happens on its own. Breathing, speaking, moving, thinking, without effort, without hesitation. Nothing to hold on to, nothing to protect, nothing to become. Only life, unfolding as it always has. The search ends, not because something was found, not because something was lost, but because nothing was ever missing. Life moves, words appear, the body breathes. No separate self directing it. No effort needed to keep it going. Everything is already complete. No next moment to prepare for. No past to hold on to. No question left to ask. Nothing left to do. Just this, and even these words, just appearing and disappearing, like everything else. And now, even this fades. No last thought, no last question, just this. And long after this ends, long after these words are gone, this is still here.